All Things Unexplained. Hosted by Dr. Mounts.
Let's face it, we were always ready to roll without him anyway.
CJ Derringer.
Ain't nobody perfect, right?
And Smitty Neebs.
I've never planned out hardly anything my whole life. I just freeball.
Featuring Cajun Man.
I'm just old nobody, somebody looking for somebody.
Author of the new book, The Cosmos Explained, host of the podcast Into the Luniverse. He's an associate in astrophysics at the American Museum of Natural History, a professor, a talented singer, which we have proof of from earlier tonight, co-author along with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Robert Arion of the book One Universe at Home in the Cosmos. It's Dr. Charles Liu.
Yep, let's do this. So, Dr. Liu, we'll just finish the show off tonight with some hot takes. I don't know if you've ever done hot takes before. Have you ever done hot takes? So, just not. Hot button topics, some relevant especially to our show, some relevant especially to astrophysics, and we'll just pick a few out here. And it's your quick, super hot take on the hot button topics. Let's start with this. Are you familiar with Elon Musk car in space?
I'm afraid so, yes.
What's going to happen to it?
Probably nothing for a really long time, and then it will have a spectacular crash.
Into the sun? Is that where it's headed?
Possibly.
Good answer. And I didn't know much about the Elon Musk car until CJ brought it up.
I'm so thankful for you for asking that question. I was dying to know.
CJ really want to know. I think it's going to go in the sun, and or it could get destroyed by something else. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Did we land on the moon?
Yes.
Good answer. What do you think about the future of space travel?
I think it's bright. I think it will be eventually, maybe 100 years from now, as common for human beings to be in space as it is currently now for us to be in the air on airplanes.
That's incredible.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Dr. Liu, are we alone in the universe?
No, we're not. The chances of extraterrestrial life existing are very, very high. However, the chances of them having come down to Earth, crash landing in Roswell, New Mexico, hiding amongst the populace, and then interbreeding with the locals, thus creating teenagers with supernatural powers who then have angst and issues when they grow up, the chances of that are essentially zero.
But it would be cool.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
I would like to have a couple
cool.
of teenagers in my class. That'd be nice.
What is something that is still unexplained about the universe that you would like to see explained in your lifetime?
I would like to know what dark matter is made of, and I would like to know why dark energy exists. Dark energy and dark matter together comprise 95% of the contents of the universe. We don't know anything. I like to say that for everything that we've ever learned about anything we know about, there are at least 19 more things that we don't know about that we've never even thought about before because of dark matter and dark energy. So we have a lot to learn.
Well, speaking of dark matter, one thing I find confusing, and maybe you can clear this up, have we officially confirmed the existence of the Higgs-Boson, aka the God particle?
Yes. We have confirmed its existence, and the reason it's called the God particle is not because it's divine or it's anything more special than, say, other bosons, but because somebody long ago wanted to find it and couldn't find it and swore at it, and basically said, "Oh, this is a God particle."
Where's my
and so a person wrote a book about it and wanted to call the book. They wanted to call the book the God particle. And the publisher said, "I'm sorry, we can't use that word in the front of a book." So they just removed the part and just called it the God particle. And that's why it has been called a God particle ever since.
I do not think people understand that at all. I'll be honest.
No, that's awesome.
That's great. I think people think that, okay, if we prove the Higgs boson is real, we've proved God is real.
Right. No, it's a totally human story about this. And it's about public relations and communications that a publisher did. Very clever, I should add. But no, as cool as the Higgs boson is, and it's really cool, right? With the Higgs boson, that's what causes us to move more slowly through the universe because we have mass, right? It imparts that drag against motion that we call mass, which is super, super cool. It is just one particle doing its thing. Photons are just as cool. They bring light to our eyes, right? They bring sunlight from the sun. Electrons are just as cool. Without them, we wouldn't be talking today. Our entire civilization is powered on the motion of electrons, or the lack thereof.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so, the Higgs boson is cool, but I wouldn't consider it any more divine than any of these other cool particles that we encounter all the time.
That's great. What's your hot take on Albert Einstein?
Smart guy, a human. We should celebrate him for the cool things that he did, and remember that everybody makes mistakes and everybody tries their best in life.
Would he be pleased at what we know about spooky action at a distance now?
Yes, he would, because he was a firm believer that mathematics could solve things. And the fact that we now know that spooky action at a distance can work in things like quantum entanglement, and that's actually confirmed through scientific experimentation, would make him very happy.
Maybe he would call it something else now.
Yes, that's what he would call it. He'd call it like awesome action at a distance or something.
That's great. It's officially renamed today. Hot take. Dr. Liu, what's your hot take on Stephen Hawking?
Stephen Hawking, what an amazing life to be able to continue to live with ALS all this time and still be able to contribute to the world with a wonderful mind, even though a body is gone. It just proves that there's so much dimension to humanity beyond just flesh and blood and beyond just simple thought.
Would we have astrophysics today as we know it without Sir Isaac Newton?
Yes, although maybe not as fast, because Isaac Newton was great. But just like Newton, just like Einstein, just like so many other scientists, there were other scientists working and thinking about these same sorts of things. The true breakthrough that they made was inevitable based on the number of people working on these projects, but it was just a matter of when. So we may be decades, even a century behind on our science today were it not for Isaac Newton or for Albert Einstein or some of these great scientific thinkers. But we'd still get there eventually.
Right. What's your favorite sci-fi movie?
Star Wars.
Had to be
The
right.
one,
I guess I better go watch it.
the only Star Wars. Star Wars is Star Wars is Star Wars. Yeah, you can add the words A New Hope after it.
Dr. Liu,
Don't add those.
you might have just convinced me to go watch my very first Star Wars movie.
Yay!
Never seen a single one.
This is the way, CJ. This is the way.
What you do is you watch Star Wars A New Hope by itself, the original version from 1977. Don't think of it as some sort of massive arc or anything, but just think of it as its own little fairy tale about somebody doing something really cosmic in a really wild place in a battle of good versus evil. And that's the joy of that movie from that period of time.
That describes what I do at high school every day. Good versus evil. Good versus evil.
And I salute you for that, sir.
Thank you.
You know, I talk about the universe and I think deeply, you know, at the university level or beyond, and national observatories using space telescopes, whatever. But you are in the trenches every day. You are making a difference in our society that I cannot. And for that, I salute you and thank you. You
It's
are
like those old,
a hero.
yeah.
You really
It's
are.
like those old Bud Light commercials. Here's to you, Mr. High School History Teacher. Here's
But
to
Bud
you.
Light is not my beer of choice. I'm
I
sorry.
loved those.
What's your beer of choice? Hot take.
I have many, but it's definitely not Bud Light.
Craft
If
beer,
I want
craft beer,
if I
or
want-
big box beer?
craft. I definitely prefer, because any given time I'd like a specific kind of taste to my beer. You know, I'm not drinking beer because it's beer, but I'm drinking it because I'd like to pair it with something or have a flavor of something or have an attitude of something. And so it can be a large brewery or a small one, just as long as it has that, special identity at that given moment. I will
like
enjoy it.
that. I need to pair my beer with a particular attitude. I'm gonna start doing that. I've only got two more hot takes for you, Dr. Lou.
Sure.
Bigfoot. Is he out there?
Bigfoot is probably out there, but not in the way that we expect it as portrayed by popular media. In other words, unknown creatures surely exist out in the wild. But are they big and hairy and kind of peek out between the woods and then escape before someone can actually, ask it questions? That is very unlikely. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if we found some really cool macrofauna somewhere in the world that has not yet been discovered at some point in our lives.
Yes. Great point. And finally, Dr. Lou, this last hot take is our most popular topic, and also, ironically, the most closely associated with astrophysics. Congress recently had a hearing with Pentagon officials on this topic, UFOs. What's your hot take on UFOs?
Many things are unidentified and they fly, right? I probably have, in my lifetime, maybe even yesterday, standing outside, admiring the beautiful weather, and then something flew by. What is that? I don't know. It's unidentified. We may never know what that was. Maybe someone took a picture of it. What was it? I don't know. I can't identify it. I do not know. I can maybe ask a bird person, but the bird person's like, I don't know. It's too blurry. The chances that something unidentified that is flying past is observed is very high. And if we can't explain it through any other ordinary means, it doesn't mean it's weird. It just means it's unidentified. And it's worth exploring because it's kind of fun. And it's fun to our imaginations to imagine what it could be. But in the end, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. We've all seen unidentified flying objects, and it hasn't really changed anything. That's my take. I guess, is that a hot enough take, or is that too cold?
Yeah, that was great.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, someone you probably have never heard of named Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson said, you know what, if you want to show me aliens are real, it's simple. Just drag one out to the town square, have everybody pull up, have a look at him. I'll give it to you. He's real.
Yeah, I don't want to drag anybody into the middle of the town square. I would invite this extraterrestrial and say, hey, would you like to meet some of my friends? You want to hang out and take it easy? Maybe offer you a beer? I mean, could be Bud Light or craft beer, whatever you prefer. And let's chat. That's what I want. Why drag it?
I do
That would
want
definitely
to add-
unite us all. One beer to unite us all.
To be continued.
You've been listening to All Things Unexplained. If you liked this podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. If you would like to hear more All Things Unexplained, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Our show depends on the support of listeners like you. Find us on Venmo under the business accounts. Just look for @BigfootUFO. Additionally, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/unexplained. If you can't get enough of us, go ahead and check us out at allthings-unexplained.com. A special thanks to our producer, director, sound mixer, editor, and the man who wears far too many hats. No, seriously, he wears a lot of hats, Dr. Tim Mounts. Without you, we couldn't keep the lights on. Thanks for listening to All Things Unexplained.